How I cured my approach anxiety talking to girls. I didn't cure anxiety by becoming confident. I didn't cure it by saying better lines, changing my mindset, or pushing through fear. I cured it when I finally understood what was actually happening in my head. For years I thought approach anxiety meant I was scared of talking to women. That's not true. I could walk up to strangers and ask for directions. I could talk to cashiers. I could talk to anyone. The anxiety only showed up around women I was attracted to. That was the clue I missed for a long time. When I lived in central London, I would spend hours doing day game, literally just walking around all day. And at the time I worked for a dating coaching company, so approaching wasn't an option. I had to do it as a goal. And on the outside it looked like I was doing the work, but internally something else was happening. Internally I was actually stuck in my head all day. I wasn't afraid of speaking, I was afraid of what the interaction might mean about me. If a woman rejected me, it felt like a verdict on me. If I hesitated, then I would attack myself because of the pressure I was putting on myself. And if I actually did it, if I actually went and spoke to a woman, I would then obsess over whether I did it properly or not, whether I did it to a certain standard. So then every approach became heavy. There was too much pressure on it. It became a test of self-worth, a test of confidence, a test of social skill. And that's why when you really think about it, approach anxiety isn't really about fear, it's about pressure. And here's the part that changed everything for me. The anxiety wasn't trying to stop me from approaching. It was protecting me from some kind of identity damage. My nervous system wasn't asking, can you go and speak to her? It was asking, what happens if this goes badly? And once I understood that, everything started to click. It became a lot easier. I realized then that I was waiting to feel confident before I actually went and spoke to anybody. I realized I was waiting to feel a different version of myself before acting. More relaxed, more authentic. I thought if I just become that version of me first, then approaching would be easy. There's no risk. But that version never came along because there was always something nagging me in the background, and waiting for it was what was causing the hesitation and the fear. Like constantly walking around, I was waiting to feel good before I went and said hello to a woman. So the moment I stopped trying to fix myself before approaching, that's when the pressure went away. And it wasn't because the fear had gone, it was because this outcome of speaking to a woman didn't determine how I felt about myself. My identity wasn't riding on whether she was going to accept me or not. And that's why I started to see that this confidence advice that a lot of guys get doesn't work. It wasn't working for me. There was always assuming that there was something I needed to add, something I needed to do, rather than be. There was always something that I had to achieve or feel a certain way. So before even approaching and going to speak to somebody, I was already rejecting a part of me. I was already saying that I'm not good enough as I am. So then what actually cured my approach anxiety was clarity. It wasn't confidence. It wasn't pushing through. It wasn't discipline. It wasn't willpower. It wasn't reps or sets or just progressively desensitizing myself. It was clarity and understanding of what was actually going on in the first place. Once I realized that these interactions don't need to be a referendum on my worth, my nervous system would then stop treating these interactions as dangerous. And then action just became a lot lighter. Not easy, but just lighter. So if this sounds familiar, there's nothing wrong with you. This isn't a confidence problem or a willpower problem. It's simply a system that you've learned. And the way that you unlearn a system is firstly understand and not fight that system any longer. It's the fighting that fuels that system. I break this down in more detail outside of these videos. Not with more scripts or willpower or pushing through or hype, but by helping you remove the pressure that's been running things in the background. So if you want to go deeper on this, check out the link below. If you found this video helpful, check out this video here. It breaks down the #1 excuse for not approaching.